Greetings, Ken Woodward here. Welcome back to another episode of Curated Questions. Together, we engage inquisitive humans about how they use questions to navigate and make sense of our world. I'm a fellow traveler and pilgrim on this journey, and I'm glad you're here. During the early 90s, I was stationed on a U.S. Navy submarine in Groton, Connecticut. The state's rugged, tree-covered beauty is lovely during the summer months. The winters can be cold and gray. As a junior sailor standing topside security watch at the end of the pier while the freezing winds thrust up the Thames River, I realized my Arizona upbringing did not prepare me for the experience. I quickly understood the definition of cold. Each newbie sailor gets a chance to be a, quote, crank and work kitchen duty. 3 meals a day while in port, and while at sea, we served a 4th meal at midnight, when the watchstanders relieved each other. This meant that my world was cleaning the mess decks, serving food, sleeping, and studying to get, quote, qualified. Being qualified would have allowed me to watch movies, but I wasn't there yet. There was no line of sight beyond 30 feet, and the crew was 130 guys. My first multi-week underway trip was preceded by winter's cold, gray skies, and even grayer water. Once underway, we closed the hatch and proceeded to our dive point to submerge. When we cast off lines to get underway, submarine life shifts. We enter an 18-hour day with 3 6-hour shifts until we moor. The routine is immediate. You are on watch, oncoming, or off-going. Everyone has a responsibility and must be ready to fulfill it. Water in the people tank is very, very bad. After weeks of gray, I had forgotten the world held color. The routine was broken when we surfaced to pull into Puerto Rico. The stale air was replaced by a warm, humid, salty taste of the world we had arrived in. I felt reborn when I got the chance to scurry up the ladder into the waiting warmth. My vision stretched all the way to the horizon where the crystal clear water met the blue sky. The island was awash with lush green trees punctuated by palm trees gently swaying in the breeze. The muted cold and gray were a distant memory, and my senses were fully alive. That was 35 years ago. The present day has its own version of gray. Democracy is under pressure. People are being pulled from their lives without warning. The news arrives like a series of depth charges, and the instinct is to brace for the next one. I live in this too. I'm not reporting from a distance. What I noticed, looking into the negative space of my own days, was that my sense of wonder had gone quiet. Not gone, but quiet. And I have learned enough to know that when the wonder goes quiet, resilience starts to follow. Maybe wonder isn't a luxury at all. Maybe it's how we remain resilient. Cole Arthur Riley writes, "Wonder doesn't dismiss pain, it brings us out of numbness." This episode is me going looking, not as an escape, as a necessary act. I started my research by texting a friend and the Choose to Be Curious host, Lynn Borton, asking for recommended episodes she had had that touched on wonder. John Muir Laws is a leading figure in the worldwide nature journaling movement. In the episode with Borton, Laws highlighted our need to lower our threshold for wonder. This resonated and became my gateway. The weeks of gray Connecticut winter and a week sealed underwater without color prepared me to recognize wonder the moment it surfaced in Puerto Rico. That experience taught me that wonder requires something before it arrives. Wonder has a cost. Recently, a user deleted his Instagram account after watching a video of people summiting Mount Everest, while he was sitting on his couch. The once-in-a-lifetime visual was unearned. The cost was zero. No training, no cold, no investment, no journey, just a thumb sliding on a screen. What we've been calling wonder may not be wonder at all. Scroll-stopping images offer the sensation without the substance, a false sense of wonder that raises the threshold without delivering the thing itself. How did we get here so fast? Every day, my feed is increasingly filled with AI-generated images of fantastical worlds featuring majestic beings and flawless-looking humans, pushing the threshold for wonder ever higher. When thinking clearly, I wonder how my brain handles this onslaught. Color photography and film have been commercially available for only 100 years of human history. 2 generations were not enough time for evolution to prepare my brain for the world I was born into. Before this invention, we had to expend significant resources to summit Mount Everest for the view or to see an animal on the other side of the world. Historically, very few people have seen the diversity of beauty our brains take in during 5 minutes of scrolling through social media. My brain was not consulted about this decision. I'm not immune to the scroll, but I do question what it costs. It is time to recalibrate our threshold for wonder. As a noun, wonder is, quote, a feeling of surprise mingled with admiration caused by something beautiful, unexpected, unfamiliar, or inexplicable. As a verb, wonder is, quote, a desire to be curious, to know something, or to feel doubt. Sit with that for a moment. Were those the words you would have chosen? I wasn't expecting doubt or inexplicable. Both suggest that wonder doesn't require understanding, only attention. That's worth holding on to during calibration. Working with Special Forces operators, researcher Angus Fletcher studied how wonder served as a surprise trigger that interrupted the negative dissociation following combat. When something good happened, it was encountered as a plot twist with a positive outcome. Grief and shame could now become sources for awe and transformation. The method focuses on positive surprises in life with as much detail as possible. For grief, remember when life positively surprised you. For shame, when you positively surprised yourself. And for burnout, when someone else positively surprised you. The key is specificity. The more precise the memory, the more wonder is amplified. A general sense of gratitude won't do it. The exact texture of the moment will. What works for Special Forces operators in the aftermath of combat will work for the rest of us. Biology doesn't play favorites. A decade ago, I started asking difficult questions and refusing to look away from the answers. The ground shifted. What held me together was poetry. Painful truths and precise language in combination became their own form of resilience. That's when I found Irish mystic and poet John O'Donohue. In Eternal Echoes, Celtic Reflections on Our Yearning to Belong, he wrote, "Wonder is a beautiful style of perception. When you wonder at something, your mind voyages deep into its possibility and nature. You linger among its presences. You do not take it for granted and are not deceived or blinded by its familiarity. The sense of wonder keeps experience fresh and original. Wonder is the child of mystery. It calls your heart to thanks and praise." O'Donohue points towards reverence as a destination. Laws offers the path. 3 prompts for returning to the natural world. I notice, I wonder, and it reminds me of. The more specific, the better. It sounds simple because it is. The difficulty is in the intentional decision to stop. Researchers discovered that viewing fractals reduces psychological stress and boosts cognitive abilities. Since learning this, I've been on the hunt for how they show up in nature. Pine trees creating a sawtooth mountain ridge in the Pacific Northwest, the ripples from a small boat's bow being pushed to the shore, and the leafless black branches of my neighbor's tree reaching into the sky. Last weekend, while walking through the market, I was dumbstruck to see my first Romanesco broccoli, a cauliflower cultivar. The fractal structures is mesmerizing. I'm reminded that wonder is around me if I am willing to give myself the opportunity to notice and press deeper for all it has to offer. The distinction is worth sitting with. The problem was never sitting on the couch, but rather the scroll. Creators know they have seconds to get us to stop. Passive consumption delivers images without asking anything of us. No noticing, no lingering, no wondering. Wonder doesn't require a submarine or a mountaintop. It requires a decision to be present to what's already there. The Romanesco stopped me because I let it. Wonder is earned. O'Donoghue offers one more thing worth discovering. Quote, "We desperately need to retrieve our capacity for reverence each day that is given to you as full of the shy graciousness of divine tenderness. It is a lovely practice at night to spend a little while revisiting the invisible sanctuaries of your lived day. Each day is a secret story woven around the radiant heart of wonder. We let our days fall away like empty shells and miss all the treasures." In This Here Flesh, Riley writes, "Wonder, then, is a force of liberation. It makes sense of what our souls inherently know we were meant for. Every mundane glimpse is a salve on the wound, instructions for how to get the bone right again. If you really want to get free, find God on the subway. Find God in the soap bubble. Me? I met God in the taste of my grandma's chicken. I hear God in the raspy leather of Nina Simone's voice. I see the face of God in the bony teenager bagging my groceries. And why shouldn't I? My faith is held together by wonder, by every defiant commitment to presence and paying attention. I cannot tell you with precision what makes the sun set, but I can tell you how those colors, blurred together, calm my head, change my breath." Finding wonder in the mundane glimpses becomes a pathway to liberation. The shadow the lamp casts, the Romanesco in the market that left me dumbstruck, the piece of pottery on my desk that I turn over in my fingers, made by indigenous people who lived in my childhood neighborhood centuries before me. Wonder is everywhere. The only cost of liberation is the decision to pay attention. What have you stopped seeing because it has become familiar? Lower the threshold. Look again. Wonder awaits.